Hey guys, AntVenom here, and today I am joined with my second behind the scenes for Starless Night, and today I am joined by MusicByPedro.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm so glad that this project is fully done and out of the way. Not that it wasn't enjoyable, it's just that we've been working on it for so long, and it's so great to actually see a project come to full fruition.
The completion day is definitely a great reason to celebrate. We
Yeah.
started back in July 2015, I believe, was when we had a final audio track.
Oh my god, you're right. I was saying that it took 6 months, but that was just with the animation that Jerome did. Jerome worked on it for 6 months, but originally when this music video was being made, I'm not going to say who it was, but we did have another animator in mind who had done some work with me in the past, and he just kind of dropped off the face of the planet. So, you know, that's fine. It was
the nature of the business, right?
Right, exactly. And I mean, it's not like he did like half the project and abandoned it or something. So we didn't lose anything. We just lost time. But anyways, then we found Jerome and we got everything done. But yeah, July, that's crazy.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take it back even further. July was when I got the final audio track. You and I met back in February or March.
Something like that. Like I could
went to go
actually
visit you.
I could go through my documents right now and actually find out when the first sample of the new song was sent to me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that really quick. Let's see. Songs, Starless Night. And
Why don't you look it up and I'll talk a little bit about the story here.
Okay, go for it.
So when Taylor and I were starting to work on the story, we weren't sure whether or not we wanted to continue where Through the Night left off. Did we want to just go a separate direction? Do we want to bring in all new characters to the mix?
Mm-hmm.
But I think the more and more we talked about it, the more we fell in love with the characters we created in Through the Night. And we wanted to develop that story more. You know, the two of them ended up being together at the end of the story. But we wanted to see what kind of adventures could they go through.
Right.
And that was definitely where we came up with the idea of adding a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, we added the kid because it adds such a great charm factor. It makes you want to fall in love with him because he's so pure and so innocent. You know, he's got that glow in his eyes. He's curious about everything. That helmet that he picks up, which,
Yep.
you know, you've seen the story by then.
Right.
You know, and so, like, all of those things just can a lot of our viewers will be able to relate. It's like, oh, what does that helmet do? I wonder what happens if I put it on, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that was very, very helpful. And then what were some of the other things that you wanted to do with the story, Tay?
There was a lot of ideas that I had for the story. I mean, initially, the story itself started in a different location. A lot of elements for the story, like, there are reasons why some things were cut in that we didn't have enough time, and others were just things were really silly. So, I mean, one story element that we had was there was going to be... Basically, when the kid got taken, there was going to be like an actual training sequence with some dojo master guy who is going to basically be represented by my AntVenom character, but not like I don't know, like an older version. I don't even know what details we had flushed out, but there was going to be this weird training sequence. And as we looked at the story, we're like, I mean, the guy owns a blacksmith shop. He could just train on his own, that sort of thing. So it was just a matter of taking the really silly story elements and boiling them down. But yeah, so I looked up how old the samples were. And I mean, the kid is nearly as old as the first Through the Night 2 sample that you sent me, because that's what it originally was called. The first one where it says TTN2 prelim samples is December of 2014.
Oh, that's a long time.
So 6 months after the completion of Through the Night, we had Through the Night 2 in mind. So a year and a half, or no, more than that.
I think it's more. Yeah, we basically started in December 2014. We're close to 2 years now, coming up in like 2-3 months. But you know, it was interesting because I know you said you messaged me. You're like, hey, let's do another music video, and I'm like, yeah. Totally, you know, I've learned a lot from the past, from Through the Night. I've learned a lot of things, and I want to kind of bring that new approach. I'm always reading blogs and always learning how people compose, and it's always interesting. They all work differently. Some of them work off the lyrics that someone writes. Some people write poetry, and that's enough to spark interest and spark certain sounds in a song. But to me, I feel like my approach works for me. It's not like necessarily the standard approach or anything like that, But to me, I feel like I have to have that music. I have to have that punch before we even start talking about what is this song going to be about. Those ideas will come along after we have a really solid track. And so we started with preliminary samples, which is what Taylor was just mentioning early. And we said, let me put together some samples because we don't know. You have no idea what you want to do. I don't either. So the only way to get to the right answer is by eliminating all the wrong ones.
Right.
So I sent him 4 very different samples, and he's listened to them, and he said, I like this one, not so much this one, kind of like this one, and then I like what you did in this one. So I would take all that feedback because I knew I wasn't expecting to have a hitter from the very first one.
Right.
So I would take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then evolve that into a second batch of samples. And then we slowly started honing in on what we both thought would be a good song for the new music video.
Yeah, actually it looks like here with the lyrics or without, I think there are something like 9 different samples that were sent in, not including the original rock samples for your basically original idea that you're going to send me. That just didn't seem like it was going to be too fitting for what I was after. But I mean, so there are 7 of those and then 9 for the actual song that we wound up landing on.
Yeah. So it's a lot of back and forth, and Taylor's very busy and so am I, so we don't necessarily have time to sit down and just punch this stuff out all day. My brain would get tired from trying to come up with all this stuff. His ears would get very placent, and then in a way, everything would either start annoying him or everything would start sounding okay. And then we would really be happy with what we would come up with.
And that always happens, actually. I've noticed every single time I've done a project like this, with the minor and Through the Night, that you listen to the song so many times that you can't even tell, like, if you think it's really great or not. So, like, with Through the Night, I remember thinking, I was, like, critically worried about it. I mean, the song has 22 million views now as of this recording. And I was, like, critically worried when it came out that it wasn't going to be well received because maybe it wasn't as catchy or it just wasn't good enough or something. But, I mean, looking back, I mean, everyone has really loved that video. So I'm really excited to see what people are going to say about this one, especially the story going into this one, because we went a lot deeper into it this time and a lot deeper in with the scenery and whatnot with this video, and tried to tell a much more deep story through the lyrics as well, because I actually remember when we were doing the lyrics for this, which was actually in, it was a year and 7 months ago. It was February of 2015. I remember is when you visited for that. I was constantly saying, let's try and not have super simplified lyrics. I think that was a big thing I was trying to push for that, for this particular song. I'm like, can we tell more of a story with less words by not necessarily using more complicated words, but just seeing what we could do with the limited amount of lyrics that we had. Because, I mean, we told a big story in a song that is ultimately 3 minutes long. The music video is 4 because we had to extend the bridge at the end. But ultimately, it's like a 3-minute and 20-second song or something like that.
I think it was 321, I want to say. 321 or 324. That seems to be the number. And then, creating that story and making it fit was definitely a challenge. Fortunately, and I'm not going to sidestep too much into what Jerome did, he told his story, and then he was like, oh, I ran out of music. And then we're like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a good problem because he's so focused and so driven into what he wanted to do. But then he's like, I need more music. And I'm just like, well,
I guess we got to do that.
So we had to extend the fighting sequence quite a bit.
Right.
But we did meet, at your place. And I feel like those sessions are probably some of the most productive sessions I've done in all of my music production stuff that I've done. It's not just for you, but just in general, just sitting down and just powering down all those lyrics and trying to tell the story is important. The challenge, like you mentioned earlier, with it being, with us wanting to, dive into a deeper story, I think was very, very important. But we also have to keep in mind that this is a pop song, and we have to keep in mind of the fact that we can't have it be just all new words, because there has to be a hook. You want to be able to whistle, you want to be able to hum, you want to be able to sing a line on this song once it's done. And if we can't do that, then we have failed. I
Right.
feel like this song definitely kicked butt when it came to having those power. And it's not even,
Yeah, exactly.
and it's just not even about, about telling the story. It's having that hook, but we were able to execute both.
Yeah.
And I think I'm extremely happy. This is probably one of my favorite songs that I've produced so far. And I've done quite a few that I'm proud of. And I'm not just saying this to because it's this video, but I'm very
Right.
happy with it. Have I learned a lot since this song came out? Oh yeah, absolutely. Is there gonna be a new approach that I'm gonna do the next one? If we do a next one, of course, there's gonna be all new things that I've learned along the way. You can't just sit here placent with the way it kind of works for you. You got to find a way to do it better. You got to find a way to do it faster, and have fun doing it. Because I gotta say, I had tons of fun, working with you and putting all of this together. Yeah, we might have had a couple of moments where we're like, oh, what are we gonna come? What do we say in this 3 seconds of music? What can we say here?
I actually think that happened at the end of the production in the last couple of lines that were not a chorus. Basically, the last verse, I think we struggled on that for probably 5 to 10 hours. I think that, we actually, if I remember correctly, we ripped through a lot of the song pretty quickly, and then we got stuck twice on the song. I mean, I was going to say before, it really helped that we had the physical space to walk around, because I don't know if you guys know this. I think we've mentioned this in the previous behind the scenes, but it is crazy important that if you are meeting with someone to make a song of this caliber, that you don't do it over a Skype call, because there's distractions from the internet.
Yep.
There's, oh, my email's open. Now I get distracted by that. Oh, suddenly I'm on, Reddit or some other website, looking up the news or looking up just cat pictures on the internet, because that's the internet. And that can happen so easily. So when you're able to get up and walk into a room that doesn't have a computer and say, this is where we're brainstorming, there's nothing else to do in that moment. There's no getting distracted, except for maybe looking at a spot on the wall for half a second.
Yep.
So that was really important for this entire process.
It keeps us focused, and it makes our time together more efficient too.
Yeah. So if there's any one big tip, if anyone's looking to make a song of this caliber, find someone that's, well, actually you can't find someone more talented than Pedro, so you're kind of screwed there. But find the next best person down, work with them, and try and meet in person if you can. So
I think it's important, and some people get a little bit paranoid when you bring it up, but I guess they don't understand what you mean. It's like, hey, yeah, we're gonna work on this. We need to meet up, and then wait a minute, wait do we need to meet up? It's like, well, yeah, this is a huge project, and it requires a lot of collab. And if we just save it for Skype, it's gonna take forever for me to get feedback. It's gonna take forever for the project to take off. We'll lose interest, and then the spark is gone.
And Pedro can tell you more than anyone that I don't accept anything except for the highest of quality when it comes to projects along this line. That's why I haven't had 4 other crap music videos. I mean, I could have commissioned to have a standard of quality of video be a lot less, but I mean, the minor was the absolute best thing I could get at the time. Through the Night was the absolute best thing I could get at the time, and I believe that Jerome has really exceeded the the bar that was set by Through the Night in so many ways.
Oh, definitely.
And I mean, you have as well, because you've grown as well. I think you originally mastered the minor, and you got a lot better with Through the Night, and got a lot better with this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, it's just about learning how to make yourself better for the next time. Yeah. Don't get caught, and this goes for everybody. There's always a reason to not release something, because they're afraid of the feedback. They're afraid of X or Y person saying, oh, the drums are too loud, or the bass is too loud. But if you get caught up in that pigeonhole where you just want to polish this gem, and you just want to polish it, never let it go, then nobody's ever going to see it. You're never going to get that feedback. Yeah, you
have to figure out when is time to finalize it. It's you can put 20% of the work to get 80% of the product, but then it's going to take 80% more effort to get the remaining 20%. Not saying you should only take a project up to 80%, but there's a fine balance to find somewhere where you get the vast majority of the quality you're after, and not have to baby it for another year or whatever. I mean, the same thing goes for physical artwork too. It's the exact same philosophy.
Yeah. So putting the lyrics together was definitely, it was pretty smooth from the very beginning. We just had a couple of little writer's blocks, I guess,
Yep.
as we get closer to the end. So, we've talked about some of the challenges that we had. I think the biggest one for me was I wanted to get away from the Through the Night instrumental. Because that instrumental to me, I did it on an iPad, and I did it while I was supposed to be. I'm holding my fingers quoting it. I'm supposed to be on vacation. I'm gonna go visit my parents, and then I got this iPad. I'm like, oh, there's GarageBand in it. Let me make some beats on it.
Oh my God.
By the time I get off the plane, I'm like, Taylor, I think I have something that I think you'll dig. And that's how Through the Night happened. So there were some limitations when I made it on the iPad that I've learned how to convert and and polish and make it better. But this one I did completely here in this studio. And so, it was a challenge because you kind of want to steer away from these sounds, but it's like that song in your head that doesn't leave. It's still there, and it's very difficult to get that ball rolling, which is why these preliminary samples all kind of sound a little bit like Through the Night. But then as Taylor started giving me more feedback, saying, I like this, I don't like that, I like this, I don't like that, I started pulling away from it. And never settle for the first cut of whatever you want to do. It's a bad rookie mistake to make. So you work on it and then get feedback, whether it's your friends, whether it's your family, co-workers, whatever. Get as much feedback and then take it to the next level. Never settle for draft A. As you can tell from us, I think we went with, like you said 9 drafts? Something
like that. I mean, I see, there's TTN 2, version 2, 2.1, 2.1, again, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it went all the way up to 7. Then there's like a couple other files here and there. So, I mean, I think in total, let me actually look, from the original TTN2 prelim sample all the way up until now, we're looking at 18 files. So some of them are going to include lyrics, some won't, but there are 18 files sent back and forth until we had the finalized render of the song that I have, which is the last one on my list here.
Yeah. So, it was tons of fun to put it together. I do want to give a shout out to Jay Breeze for just killing it on these vocals.
Yeah.
And Big Rude Recording for doing the mastering on it. I've been learning a lot just by watching him work, but Jay just did such an awesome job. He came in one day and I gave him the lyrics and I talked him through them, rhythm wise and, style. I think I had him spend a week on them. He came back the next week. We had a rehearsal and I recorded some of it just so we can get an idea of how it all connects and how it all flows. I gave him another week to go practice and listen to what he recorded here. And then week 3, he came in and we laid it down. I think it took about 4 hours to get it all done. It was exhausting, but it was tons of fun because we had so many good takes. Sometimes it's really tough to just pick one. So in some cases, if you listen to the chorus, or especially the chorus, if you listen to the chorus, I ended up just doubling up a bunch of these because they all sound good together. They sound great by themselves. They sound even better when they're all mixed in together. Yeah. Which is one of the effects that we went with in the chorus, just having that multi harmony.
Yeah, it felt really powerful to hear that in the chorus.
Yeah. Well, he did awesome. So that was basically it. I think some people probably want to know what some of the questions. People want to know what some of the programs are that we used. I think Taylor probably already went with his stuff with Jerome. For people that want to know what I used, honestly, I just use Logic Pro X for Mac for tracking and for mixing. And then for mastering, which was what Big Rude did, my friend Chase, he uses Pro Tools. And so I take everything that I do here, I export each individual track. So if you just want to listen to a kick drum for 3 minutes and 21 seconds, I got your track right here, fam. Wow. It's crazy.
Oh, you just used that word. I don't know if I can work with you again.
Oh, no.
I don't know, guys. He said fam. I don't know if I can do it.
All right, well, I guess that ends that here. It's a tragic video. Rip. Have a moment of silence here.
Oh, God.
But yeah, so the programs are there. Logic Pro X is for Mac. And then Pro Tools. Pro Tools is available for Mac and PC. And, if you guys want to get started on your own stuff, because I know I'll get tons of people who are always asking, I'd say Cubase is probably one of the best PC programs out there. GarageBand is also good for Mac. Obviously, Logic is great. You can even use Pro Tools to actually start tracking and creating your own instrumentals. So as you guys are watching this video, I do also want to point out, this video is going to come out either before or after the karaoke video. Taylor?
I think the karaoke video is coming out on the exact same day. Like, they might come out at the exact same time. I mean, it's going to be within hours of this video if they're differently timed, either before or after. I'm not sure which one's coming out first. If I had to guess, I would say, I honestly don't know, but it'll be within a few hours.
So as you're watching this video, you have either seen the karaoke video that we worked hard putting together, or after you watch this video, you can check out the karaoke video. You've got some cool text that we'll put on there. Did some fancy stuff with the video also to kind of make it more of a nice background. So feel free to check that out. The karaoke track will also be on iTunes, so you can check that out. So you can download the actual song, which will help us out quite a bit. And then you can download the karaoke track also to really let us know that, hey, I like this song and I want to sing it. I want to hum it in my car. I want to drive my parents crazy. You know, whatever else you want to do with it. So I think that's it on my
Drive
end,
everyone crazy with this song. Make sure they hear it. Do it.
All right, man. So is there anything else that you want to say?
The only other thing that I think I want to say is, after you're done watching Starless Night, be sure to check out The Miner and Through the Night and buy them all on iTunes and share them with your family as well. I mean, there's an entire playlist that has all the songs and the behind the scenes on YouTube. So share that playlist with everyone.
Sounds good.
So yeah, I think that's all. You're pretty much the brains of the operation behind the song itself. I just kind of let you go to town.
I do want to say Taylor's a really great guy to work with when it comes to writing lyrics.
Aw, thanks, man.
It's weird because you have some musical abilities, but when I first worked with you on Through the Night, I had no idea that we would have such good lyrics, and I think that's one of my among many. That's one of my favorite things that I like about
Starless Night or Through the Night.
Through the Night.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of my favorite things to work with you on music videos, because when we sit down and we start writing stuff, sometimes I love when we have those moments where, like, when we just write that line that just like the very first time we're just like, oh yeah, we're not touching this one. This one's green all the way across,
Yep. And actually, now I realize why you said that, because The Miner was something that we already had the instrumental for, because it was a parody, and I did the lyrics all myself there. So yeah, Through the Night was the first time we ever sat down and did lyrics together. Like, that memory has now properly come back to me.
Yep. And if you guys really like the music video, go check it out. Again, I hate to plug it in again, but the reason for that is because if we know that you guys really like this one, then maybe we'll make another one.
Maybe just maybe we'll make another. Maybe. Live like on video if you want another music video, please. So anyways, I think, is there any other details you'd want to add besides that, or are we all set? I think that's it.
That's it for me.
Yeah, that's it for me. So I hope you all have enjoyed this behind the scenes. Hope you guys enjoyed the music video as well. If you do have any questions about, anything music related or whatever, Pedro's got his Twitter. I'll have that linked in the description below as well. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to leave them in the comments or on Twitter as well. So anyways, I hope you all have enjoyed. My name is AntVenom.
And my name is Pedro.
And we bid you all farewell, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for watching.